you are and why you're here, and then you'll be your turn, then we'll start the questioning. And I'm asking candidates to be very direct and concise. You only get a minute for your answers. Rob, are you ready to go first?
Always.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Looks like this works. My name is James Ohrenschall. I'm glad to be here today. I thank you very much for taking the time to let me be part of this interview process. I'm a native Las Vegan. I am not myself a veteran. I got to take part at Chaparral High School in the Naval Junior ROTC, and I did want a career in the military, but somewhere along the line I got off track and that didn't happen for me. I'm proud that I do have veterans in my family. My father is an Army veteran who was drafted during the Korean conflict. He did not get shipped overseas. They kept him here, but he did serve in the Army during Korea. My stepfather is also an Army veteran. He served during World War II, and he fought under General Patton in North Africa and in Italy. As a state assemblyman, I was first elected in 2006. I feel like I've tried to help veterans. Whenever veterans try to call me, I try to reach out to the Office of Veterans Services or to our federal representatives to try to help them, and hope to get to continue.
My name is Frazier. I want to thank the Veterans in Politics International for the invitation. I also want to let everyone know that I'm running for Assembly District 12. And if it sounds like I'm nervous, it's because I am. Okay. But briefly, District 12 is located to the north. You're bordering District 12 to the north. You're looking at Cary. To the south, you're looking at the Henderson area. To the east, you're looking at Sloan. To the west, you're looking at Los Feliz. I'm a disabled veteran. I understand veteran issues. I've been working with veterans my entire life. My dad is a Vietnam injured veteran. I've been associated with the situations that veterans go through, the anxiety problems that they come back looking for work. Many of those problems in my district, I understand.
I'd like to start by asking both of you just initially, are you going to sign the pledge here today?
You know, I didn't know about this pledge when I arrived here, and as a policy, I don't sign pledges. That doesn't mean that I won't support a certain initiative. Everything I've read in this pledge sounds like something that I would support, but as a rule, I don't sign pledges.
Okay.
I read it, and I agree with it. It's on.
Okay.
I read everything in the pledge, and I agree with it, and I will sign it.
All right, thank you. My first question then, or my question rather, starting out is, the veteran court system right now has been a huge success in its initial implementation. There are obviously some areas where we need to improve it and expand it. Tell us if you know about them, and as a legislature, how you would know about expanding in the district court, and perhaps it's now limited to misdemeanors that are drug-related. If you would expand that to people with PTSD and other offenses.
Well, the veteran court system, I think, is grossly underutilized. I would expand it. I would have it open not only for those veterans that are coming back, but post-traumatic stress syndrome veterans also. I would definitely expand that system as much as I could. And, I would do any and all things that I can do for veterans. I would leave no stone unturned when it comes to support and benefits for my veterans.
I'm proud to say that I supported the Veterans Court. I helped establish the Veterans Court. It went through Judiciary Committee, a committee I served on with Assemblyman Hambrick. It was an idea proposed by former Speaker Barbara Buckley. We were running out of time. It was a struggle to get it through, but we did get it through. So I've been very proud that I helped be a part of establishing the Veterans Court. In my 9-to-5 job, when I'm not in the legislature, I'm an attorney. I work in criminal defense, and I have been able to get clients accused of crimes diverted to the Veterans Court, where they have a chance at getting services, not just looking at jail time, not just looking at penalties and fines, but at getting services that can help them. And that's something that I can't tell you how proud it made me to be able to see the fruition of something I got to work on as a legislator help my clients. So anything I could do to help it, I would. I think we're probably going to be looking at more funding, and that is a problem that the state, the counties, the cities face in terms of trying to fund very good, worthy programs.
What about expanding the statutory limits of it beyond just drug crimes? There's a lot of people with PTSD that are finding themselves in trouble with the law, obviously.
We're definitely supporting it. I think we've seen that it's successful now with a narrow application, and if it can help veterans who are suffering with a broader application in terms of the crime that they're charged with, then I think it could only lead to more positive benefits. Because one thing I've learned as an attorney is that sending people away to prison or locking them up at the county jail doesn't really help society. If you can help someone get a stable roof over their head, if you can help someone earn a living so they're not worried about how they're going to feed their family, that's what helps society. So I would support that. I'll pass it to Mickey.
I would agree with James on that. I would definitely support it. I would expand it. I would make it basically as wide as possible, because vets coming back from overseas face unusual problems. We need to help them as best we can. There are programs out there that are helping them right now with jobs. As you guys know, the Hire a Hero program. There's a program that Jamie Dimon has come up with at JP Morgan Chase, where they're giving bank accounts to veterans for life, checking and savings accounts for veterans for life. And this just really started. You got the helmets to, was it helmets to hats program, or hats to
Hard hats. Helmets to hard hats.
There you go.
Some part of the local
local programs. So there are programs that we're implementing right now, because I've been asked about these programs throughout District 12. And I was asked as early as yesterday about helping a young lady whose husband passed away. So yeah, I would expand it.
Okay, this question's for, it's going to be a general question for both of you, but when you answer the question, please answer the panel. Don't direct it toward your opponent. Okay. Mickey, what exactly is the current Assemblyman doing wrong? Because if he's not doing anything wrong, why specifically are you running to remove him?
Well, what I'm noticing in the community is there's really no community involvement in District 12 when it comes to the Assemblyman there. I've talked to I've talked to people that never knew that there was an Assemblyman representing the area of town, Sunrise Manor area, to be specific. No one ever even knew that there was an Assemblyman. And basically, the elections themselves have not been very challenging in that area. I hope to change that. There's no word getting out or anything. There's as far as assistance to people, you know, the dilapidated housing, what have you, people.
Okay, thank you. Assemblyman, why do you believe that, what do you think you've done right to keep your job, and why do you want it for another 2 years?
I'm very proud of how accessible I am. Just last week, I was at a town hall meeting in the Sunrise Manor, talking to the constituents, trying to find out what the problems are. I'm proud I keep my home number listed in the book. My cell phone is available to all my constituents, and they can call me whenever. I try to be there for them. I'm very proud of the work I've done in many avenues. I sponsored a bill mandating medical insurance coverage for children with autism. And prior to that, there was no coverage in that. In fact, autism was specifically excluded. And that affected many veterans, you know, and that's something I'm very proud of. I'm proud of the way I've been able to interact, whether it's with the county commissioner or in the former District 12. I used to also have part of the city with the city council in terms of trying to deal with problems. So I pride myself on my availability. My home number's listed, my cell phone's listed, and I'm there for my constituents.
Okay, thank you both.
this question instead of what would you do, focusing specifically on the economy. What should Nevada stop doing? Something specific, either a program that should be ended that actually hurts rather than helps, or a specific act of legislation the state would benefit by the repeal of because it is economically in the way.
One thing that I would do immediately is I would repeal the $200 business tax that's on businesses, that's cramping businesses right now. We need to look at new revenue sources. Right now, we need to look at, we need to open up things such as, you know, we may have to, I know people don't want to hear it, but we may have to twinkle the Constitution a little bit and have a lottery, because right now, we're getting ready to get hammered with the internet gaming coming online this year. So that may be an issue. I went through a situation in the U.S. Postal Service where 10 years ago, I could remember writing an article on the cuts in the Postal Service, and you see what's happening now because they took the wrong direction.
I think there are two things that are very key in terms of attracting new business. One of them is stability. Businesses don't want to come to Nevada or start up in Nevada if there's not going to be stability. We just passed a new regulation that makes it tougher for home-based businesses to do business in Nevada. And that worries me. That worries me that it's going to chill interest in our great state, because we do have an attractive business climate, and there's no reason that we should scare business away. That's one thing that I think we need to look at. I think we need to look at what's been proposed before the Sunset Commission, and looking at whether agencies are still needed, and reviewing them perhaps every 4 or 5 years, and seeing, is this agency still appropriate, or is it just here and nobody wants to wipe the dust off the shelves and say the truth, the agency is not needed. In terms of renewable energy, I think we do have great resources. Senator Reid, I think, has been a real leader in that, and hopefully we'll develop more of that, and we'll start manufacturing the photovoltaic cells here. Thank you.
So what in the current state budget do you feel can be reduced to help with the budget deficit that we're continuing to have? And would you look at things like maybe charging small fees for Medicaid patients, or as one thing, as something to reduce the number of frivolous visits, or and PERS is another thing we mentioned earlier. Some earlier candidates, is that something? How would you handle that shortfall? So where can we say as a state save money?
I'm fortunate enough, privileged enough that I've been able to serve since 2006. And I've been through regular session, I've been through special session, and I've been through attempt to cut and cut, where we've cut and we've cut. But there comes a point in a budget, whether it's for a government, a business, or a family, when you start cutting down to the bone, you actually hurt the entire organism. And I think in Nevada, we're getting to that point. I don't think we can solve our budget problems through cutting. We do have to look for a more stable funding source. For years, we've relied on the gaming revenue, on sales tax. Most of that was paid by the tourists who come to our state. But if we want to adequately fund education, to take care of our veterans, to take care of the sick, I don't believe that those two funding sources are going to be able to support our budget into this next century.
I tend to agree with James. We are going to have to look at unconventional ways of raising revenues. I'm the current president of Mountainside City Lights, the homeowners association, where I've been able to lower the assessments twice over the past year, and I've been able to increase revenue by 50% in our reserve fund. So I know how to raise revenue, but the cuts that the state is looking at and are pretty massive. But gaining revenue, you need to look at areas like, you take an industry like mining, you take an industry like tobacco, where you've got cigars and basically chewing tobacco that are basically taxed at a lower rate than cigarettes. So why don't we look at that and raise on something like tobacco, something like that, and look at that, and not get caught up, especially in this internet trap that we're looking at when it comes to gaming.
Okay, so you both said that you've been working with vets, Veterans Affairs, or like Veterans Affairs to do with them, us, I should say. Can you hear me?
Oh, no.
Oh, sorry. You've both been working with veterans issues, or you supported them, or you can, okay, so what do you feel, regarding veteran issues is the most important, that you would seek to work on first, if you had the chance or opportunity?
There are numerous issues out there affecting veterans, but the healthcare issue with the VAs is slowly getting cleaned up. It's been an issue for years, and that's one of the issues that we're cleaning up as vets. But when vets come over from the theater and come over from overseas, they usually have a rough time. And the information, as far as getting them information, things that they can benefit from, that's probably the #1 issue with them. Because when they come back, a lot of them are really lost. So it's up to us as local legislators to get the information to our veterans and let them know that there are areas that we can help.
It's a two-pronged approach. You know, as a member of the state legislature, there's activity we can do. We can try to expand our Office of Veteran Services. I remember having a veteran call me who was living in his car and talking to one of our state workers at Office of Veteran Services who coordinated between Senator Reed's office, between folks back in DC, and was able to finally get this gentleman the help he needed. But it's a two-pronged approach. We can't solve everything at the state legislative level. What we can do is try to increase funding to our Office of Veteran Services. But we also need the help of our federal congressional representatives too, because some of the solutions has got to come from Washington. And I'm hopeful that no matter what happens, this country and this state will have policies that honor our veterans that come home.
That was the last question. Time's out, because the next panel is due to come up here momentarily. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Do you think you can treat it fairly by this panel? Objectively and fairly? Okay. Again, thank you for your time. We truly appreciate it. The next group will be Assembly District 13. We have scheduled 4 of the candidates. If they can start slowly making their way forward, then we'll start this. Again, gentlemen, thank you very much.